I don't know about you, Dan, but I like nice, neat labels for things. I'm a little bit anal retentive. But the food world doesn't always give you that, does it?
No, not at all. We like to define foods by what country the people who make them come from, but a lot of the borders between countries have been drawn by people who don't live in those places. And so a lot of them are pretty artificial lines.
Yeah, it's like, oh, what are we calling this today? I'm not sure. Case in point, Masalah Grill. Been here on Route 110 in Huntington Station since 2015. Chef owner Farzana Jana Sohail was born in Pakistan. Her parents, Muslim Indians. So she cooks what she knows, which is Pakistani, Indian, halal. This seems like a topic well suited for this guy, Dan Pashman, James Beard award-winning host of the Sporkful podcast, where, as the Suffolk County resident likes to say, he obsesses about food to learn more about people. And there's plenty to learn over a meal here.
I am making all my dishes, but I learned from my mom. So these are just like my mom's recipe, these are exclusive.
The first thing you've really got to try is this right here. This is one of my all-time favorites, the lamb and eggplant curry.
Oh my God.
Eggplants, and she put on the fire. Then she make with the onion, tomatoes, and make a curry with the eggplant. And on the side, she make a curry with the lamb. She take the lamb with onion, tomatoes, ginger, garlic, and our spices. At the end, she put together the both things. And this is so delicious.
Most cuisines, they say, don't overdo it, right? Like less is more. With Indian food, you could have 20 different things in a dish, and they somehow play harmoniously. It's mind-boggling.
Well, this is like a 3-act play in one bite. This dish.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the first you get a little bit of the sweetness. It's very aromatic, and then you get the kind of the fat of the, and then you get the spice on the back of your tongue, and you get that burn that just kind of like cleans it all off, and you're like, oh my God, that was like an adventure.
When I was very young, my mom used to cook that lamb and eggplant for us, and we really loved that dish a lot.
The lamb, that's actually very prominent in Western India, which borders Pakistan, because game was always a big thing. Princes would go get the whatever they were hunting that day and bring it back, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and that would be dinner.
Mango lassi is also a very traditional dish.
It's perfect when you're eating spicier food.
Yeah.
We make with the yogurt, milk, mango, and the sugar. So we blend it.
It's sort of like an artisanal Go-Gurt.
In our hometown is very, hot weather, and mango is is available, is a lot.
Yogurt is, again, something that on the western side of India is a big thing because they have a lot of dairy there.
Beef biryani is also very good because many people, they are looking for the beef in South Asian restaurants. They cannot find it in most probably. So, but in my place, because we can eat the beef, so I make the beef biryani.
You're a big biryani guy?
I love biryani.
If I take the small pieces of the beef and make a curry, once where my curry is ready, I put the rice on it, and over the top we put some garnishing with the mint leaves.
It's just like such a great comfort food. It's one of those classic dishes that you can kind of throw anything into it, and when it's done well, it's just so good.
Oh yeah, that's tender.
It's popular on both regions.
Beef is something that people usually think you're not going to find in Indian food.
If you go to the mostly Indian restaurants, so they do not make the beefs. We are different than the religion. By the religion, we have a different religion.
There is a Muslim population in India, and if it's halal, you're going to find that.
We Muslim people, we can eat the meat.
Again, it's that crossing of borders.
Absolutely.
The roti is, some people get confused what is the difference with the roti and then the naan.
I think Indians are some of the best at bread in the world. Naan, paratha, roti.
Naan is we make with the white flour, and roti is just the wheat flour.
The dough is unleavened, That's why it's crispier. It's not as puffy as a naan. It's really the only difference. It's cooked in a
Wait,
tandoor
Is
oven.
it unleavened? Does that mean I can eat this on Passover? Will you be my rabbi?
Is almost Indian and Pakistani is the same dishes, same spices we are using. So everyone has their different way of procedure to making the prep and cooking and the hand taste.
Oh man, I'm gonna be back here. It's across the street from the mall. The mall is my happy place. You ask my kids, where's Daddy's happy place? They will tell you the mall.
Mine will say the bathroom. I think this is one of those things that proves to me, like, I get really frustrated when people will say things like, I don't like Indian food. And I'm like, okay, but what are you basing that on? You've had how many Indian dishes? 2? 3? I mean, India has thousands of dishes, just like any cuisine. How do you judge a cuisine when you haven't eaten everything?
Well, also, sensory scientists will tell you that it can take 30 to 40 tastes of a new food before you acquire a taste for
Now,
it.
to be fair, I don't know if I want to put in all that work. Like,
Well,
I'll be straight.
I didn't like spicy food at all until I was in my mid-30s. And then I set a goal for myself, Rob. I said I want to like spicy food, in part because of Indian food. I said
You trained for that marathon.
Yes, exactly. I set a goal, and I started eating smaller amounts of spicy food, and then more and more. And over time, and now I love spicy food. Rob, look, life is about sacrifice.
So you were talking about spicy foods. What kind of eater were you growing up?
I always loved to eat. I love food, but I was not the most adventurous eater. Tuesday night was cottage cheese pancake night. Thursday night was hot dog night. Saturday night was pizza night. It wasn't until I got much older that I really started pushing myself to explore new flavors. I kind of got to a point in my 30s. You know how you get to a point where you're tired of all your music, like you need a new playlist or something. That's how I was with food, so I set out to eat more spicy foods and to learn to like those. And and Indian food was a big motivating factor because I was I'm missing out on so many great taste and flavor experiences because I don't like spicy food.
So now when you eat out with your family, are you always kind of in work mode? Can you just eat a meal with your family and just eat it? Or are you thinking about everything on the table?
No, I can definitely enjoy it. It's more like the issue is more that not everyone in my family is as into food as I am, so they just don't care
you
as
have that
much.
problem too?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got one ally, my daughter Becky. But the others
Hold her close.
Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes it's I want to try out this place, but it's a little bit out of the way, and does anyone else want to be bothered, and is there going to be something for the others? These are the things that I have to contend with. Look, clearly these are first world problems, but yeah, I'm usually able to enjoy it. I'll ignore my kids. My kids will all be crying, and I'll just focus on the food, and that's how I'm able to enjoy it. Ignoring your kids is a great way to enjoy meals, Rob.
Bringing all this full circle, the food, it's, I think when we talk, a lot of people talk about fusion, it gets a bad rap. People are thinking these weird combinations and things that don't go together, but all food really is fusion. I mean, look at this, what we're eating here. It's Indian, it's Pakistani, but it's not like there's an Indian side of the menu and a Pakistani side of the menu.
Is a one subcontinent, to be honest. So there was we have the same culture, we have the same dishes, we have the same wedding ceremonies, wedding culture.
It's borders that didn't once exist that now exist.
India and Pakistan was the one country. They have the partition in 1947.
But the influences crossed.
So chunks of Muslims, they migrated to Pakistan territory. So my parents, they migrated from India, Punjab to Pakistan.
And you think about even with India, and we're talking about how can you say, well, you don't like Indian food? It's each region has different specialties because of what grew in the ground or what trade route brought a new ingredient through. I mean, that's the thing that's fun and scary to me, is that with food, it's never-ending possibilities, but also impossible to learn everything.
Right. But that's, I mean, you don't have to learn everything. Just keep eating. Just keep eating.
Tasty advice indeed.